Hello again everybody! So today I'm back and today is going to be the first TBR of 2016. I kind of weaned off doing these towards the end of last year and felt I lost a bit of focus with choosing what to read, etc. And I'm back on it with quite a bumper one to start off January this year. I also just want to quickly say super thanks for all the support, subscriptions, likes, comments in the past couple of weeks. I'd kind of phased off doing this a little bit, tried to get back into it over Christmas and I'm absolutely loving it again. You guys have been so supportive, a lot of new people around here who I'm really excited to see if you enjoy the stuff I'm doing, and thank you just all so much for your support. But without any further ado, let's get straight down into January's books. So the first thing I've got on my list this month is one I've had down a few times and never got around to reading, and that's just Fairy Tail Volume 2. So this is a manga series I started in about the middle of last year. Had a really big manga phase and I really enjoyed the first one of these, bought the second and just never got around to reading it. And manga is something that I think is so much different to the rest of reading that I want to just get back into it, so that's definitely high on my list to read this month. Now some of these are definitely obviously influenced by my 2016 reading targets, and I'll link the video below where I set all those out for the year. But one of the things I wanted to do on there was read more short stories, and I want to get straight in there reading The Martian Chronicles by Ray Bradbury. So Ray Bradbury is the author who wrote Fahrenheit 451, which is one of the most famous sci-fi novels of the past 50-60 years, and I was having to look for some short stories. Well, it's a little bit different to the standard fiction ones I've read recently. This came up on Goodreads and I thought, yeah, let's give it a go. Definitely a collection of really interesting sci-fi short stories, all set around Mars. And I'm really excited to give that a go and see what sci-fi short stories are like in comparison to fictional ones. If you've been here for a while, you'll know that one of the other things I really like to read is non-fiction. Some of the stuff I find the most appealing and the most interesting tends to be in this genre, and that's not different this month. I've got a couple of really interesting non-fiction books to read. Firstly is another of these little Pelican introductions. So Who Governs Britain is one I read last year, which I mentioned a lot in my year-end awards and the like. And this came in, The Meaning of Science, which is all about a bit of an introduction to the philosophy of science, which is one of those things I kind of wish I'd studied at university for a little bit, just done a couple of modules in. And it's all about what science is, how we can prove things, how we can disprove things, what should science be trying to find. It's all those kind of big philosophical questions, and I'm really excited to give that a read. The last one of these Pelican introductions I read was amazing, and hopefully this will be just as good. The other non-fiction I'm reading this month is one that is again linked to one of my reading goals that I set. It's in fact a football book. I've wanted to read more sport books for a while. I'm quite a big football fan, and the football books I've read in the past I have enjoyed. It's just not something I normally gravitate to. So this year I'm going to do it, and when I set that in my reading recaps, someone called Amrita commented to say you should read Fever Pitch by Nick Hornby. Obviously Nick Hornby is a famous author, read About a Boy and a few other things, and this is a combination of football writing and biography. So it kind of channels his upbringing, his parents' divorce, through his encounters with football and the Arsenal Football Club. Sounds perfect. Kind of an easier way into some football writing because it's got the kind of biographical elements as well, and I'm really excited to give that a read and start knocking down some of my targets for next year. Getting onto the fiction then. This month's got an exciting batch because there's some advanced proofs I've got of books that aren't out yet, and there's just some really interesting books I've been meaning to read for a while that I'm finally getting around to. The first book is the follow-on to Victoria Aveyard's The Red Queen, which is Glass Sword. The first thing I noticed about this is that it's thicker than the original, which is very exciting because I read that one super quick. And these were just really interesting. The first one was really clever, kind of combined a load of different elements from really cool franchises and book series that I've read in the past. And I'm really excited to read the second one. I think it's due out at some point later this month, but I'm excited to get to read it before it's due out properly. Following on with the YA stint, I'm also going to read The Art of Being Normal. So this is a book that I heard a lot about when it came out in hardback last year, and it's basically about a transgender teenager. It's a biological male who identifies as a female, and it's just about his journey at school as a teenager, finding people to confide in, dealing with it with his parents, and it's not a subject I've ever read about or something I've particularly encountered that much, and I'm really intrigued to do it. I've heard a lot of people say they just wept all the way through this, so I'm looking forward to giving it a read and seeing what I think. Another good fiction, which I've heard has made people cry and is quite a cool concept, is The Versions of Us by Laura Barnett. So this got a big push in hardback last year, and the paperback's just come out. And this is basically a bit like Sliding Doors, the film. So it all stems from this one chance encounter where a guy on a bike crashes into a woman walking down a country road, and from there it spawns 3 different timelines. One where they go for a drink, one where they kind of just get up and carry on, and I have no idea what the third is. I can't work out what that could be. And it basically just follows these 3 separate lives, and the 3 stories intertwine in really cool ways, and super excited to read it. It's such a good concept, and the people I know that have read it loved it, so looking forward to getting around to that. The last book for this month so far then is The Widow, and this is a kind of psychological thriller like The Girl on the Train. It's due to be the big thriller of the year, very much like Girl on the Train was last year. I know literally nothing about it other than the fact it's probably about a widow of some sort, and I'm just excited to give it a read. I've had this advanced proof for a couple of months and keep kind of putting off reading it, but I know I'm going to enjoy it. I know it's coming out in the next couple of weeks, so I want to hit the ground running with it and really get to grips with it before everybody else is reading it, and hopefully it's as amazing as it's supposed to be. Now that already is quite a few books, but there's quite a few things there which are quite slim, or I think I'll blitz through. So I'm going to grab one more, and it's time to come back to the trusty TBR jar. So I have added a ton of new stuff in this, kind of things like read a football book, or particular book series I've bought from last year that I never got around to reading. So it's been bumped up again, and I've taken a few things that I've read or not interested anymore, and I'm just going to pour that now and see what else the other thing I want to read in January is. So let's go with that one. Oh, that's the one. So the other book I'm reading this month is June by Frank Herbert, which I don't actually know where that is. It's not going to be here. Somewhere over there. Basically, June is one of the biggest sci-fi books of all time. It's just a really famous... it's a bit like Game of Thrones in space. It's all about spice as a currency, and all about these kind of empires of wealth and politics. And there's about 40 books in the series. I've always wanted to read the first one, and this is the final kick at the backside to actually do it. There we have it then. That's my TBR for January. It's a very good list. If I can pick it up, it's a hefty list. The art of being normal is backwards, but it's this one, it is there. I'm really excited to get started with these, and really excited to get cracking. I'm going to hopefully be back in the next few days showing you all the books I've bought in the past couple of months, which is a lot of books. And other than that, again, thanks so much for your support in the past few weeks. It's so appreciated. And if you've enjoyed this, if you're excited about reading these and intrigued to see what I think, please leave a like and comment down below. It's really appreciated. And if you're new, feel free to subscribe. Oh man, I've just used the line I've always liked. I'm not going to use it. If you're new around here, feel free to subscribe. But I've done it now. We're down the rabbit hole. Do it. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. I've got a lot of stuff planned for January, a lot of books to read, and I'm looking forward to sharing it all with you in the next few months. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you soon. So I've not actually bought any of these yet, but basically they've redone 10, 12 classics in the most amazing leather-bound editions in these wonderfully amazing colours with these really